Okay, welcome back. This is part 5 of my video series on TNA Wrestling versus WWE Monday Night War. And we're talking about everything that went down on Monday night and the days that followed. We're looking at news from lordsofpain.net and reading updates. And I want to get right to it here. It says, this news was posted January 6, 2010, and it reads, an update from last night's TNA Impact spoilers. Hulk Hogan did in fact appear in a backstage segment. I wonder what that was about. Jeff Hardy was not at last night's Impact tapings. So don't expect to see Jeff Hardy on Impact this Thursday. One reader sent word that Homicide was stuck atop of the steel cage asylum structure for a whole 72 seconds at the beginning of Monday's Impact before Jeff Hardy returned. Wow, that's really embarrassing. That segment got totally screwed up. I believe Homicide was supposed to win that match by climbing out of the cage from the top, and he just couldn't get out, or he got himself stuck somehow. Maybe his leg was twisted or a muscle spasm, I don't know, but he was hanging up there for a long time, and the commentators were just like trying to cover it up or make excuses or something, or kind of laugh it off like, oh, this is a funny little coincidence. But really it kind of blew that match and that segment, because Jeff Hardy was supposed to do something. His appearance was supposed to impact Homicide's victory, but that didn't really come across very well. Anyway, yeah, it's embarrassing, but it happens. So, next topic is apparently there is now serious discussion within TNA of putting on a weekly Monday night show head-to-head with Raw. Now, that would be fantastic. That's what I'm looking forward to. They should go ahead with that. If they have the money and they have the support from Spike TV, they really need to hurry up and make that happen. I want to see TNA live every Monday night instead of Raw. I want to see them competing on a weekly basis. I want to see them improve their ratings. And I want Vince McMahon to sweat, really. I want Vince McMahon to realize, hey, I need to do something to change up this horrible format we have. That's the only way it's going to happen. Like, Vince isn't going to change anything unless the competition gets better. All right. Next news is comes from January 6, 2010. WWE removed Flair and Hardy. What does that mean? Okay, let's find out. As seen at the beginning of the January 5th edition of ECW, WWE has again edited the opening to its television programming. Recently, Hulk Hogan was removed from the opening and replaced with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And Mick Foley was removed and replaced with Jeff Hardy. They replaced one TNA guy with another TNA guy. That's great. Apparently, they didn't think Jeff Hardy was going to be on TNA. Now they're going to have to go back into the video and edit Jeff Hardy out. And who will they replace him with? Who knows? Probably someone from the Attitude Era. Well, they can't use Val Venus either. That's funny. All right. So, following his return to TNA on Monday, Hardy himself has now been replaced with Kofi Kingston. So there you have it. Kofi Kingston. That's just kind of funny. Not a big deal, though. Nature Boy Ric Flair, who also appeared on TNA programming this past Monday, who is more prominently featured than Hardy in the opening, has not been removed, at least not yet. Well, he'll probably be removed too, because WWE is very careful about promoting its competition. They do not allow that in any respect. They do not show their image or make mention of the other guys. And really, it's kind of silly, but I guess it's playing safe. All right. And the next thing says, John Cena and the stars of Psych will be a part of an online chat hosted by the USA Network. Okay, yeah. Cena's appearance on the show will also be in that same week. Well, that doesn't really make a big difference. All right, that's just John Cena appearing on TV. Really has nothing to do with wrestling, except that John Cena was absent this Monday, and he really should have been there, needed to be there. He's the biggest star that WWE has, other than The Undertaker. Undertaker wasn't there either, but, John Cena is the staple of Raw. They didn't even put him on the show, and that's pathetic. All right. Moving on. Updated numbers for this week's Raw. Okay, let's read about this. This comes from January 6th. It says, the January 2nd episode of WWE Raw AM did a 1.14 cable rating, possibly the best number of the show ever. Well, that makes sense, following that huge show on Monday night with Bret Hart. This week's episode of Monday Night Raw ended up doing a 3.6 cable rating, the same number as last week's show. Raw this week with Bret Hart did 3.51 and 3.73. Okay, it did hours of 3.51 and 3.73. Okay, and it goes on to give you the specifics of the exact amount of viewers per hour. Yeah, the biggest hour was hour 2. That's not saying much. So yeah, let's get some more news here real quick. WWE officials not happy with Raw. Let's see what that's about. Sounds interesting. Can't wait to see what this says. Why could they not be happy with Raw? Let's figure it out. Okay. It says, SmackDown and ECW house show on February 28th has been moved to the Coliseum at Taylor County Expo. So, yeah. All right, who cares? WWE's website has a video of Chris Jericho backstage talking about how he's not happy with being off Raw. He runs into Kelly and tells her that, okay, that's a storyline angle with Jericho. No big deal there. You get the gist. All right, WWE management were not happy with this week's Raw rating. Of course not. Well, they always want higher ratings, but they expected it to be bigger with the return of Bret Hart, but they killed TNA in the ratings. Like, really, if they wanted higher ratings, they should have made a bigger effort to put on a better show, and they didn't do it. So, really, what were they thinking? I mean, they need to wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, they need to realize that their show sucks. And they do not deserve the ratings they get. Plain and simple. They don't deserve them. And they're not even happy with the ratings that they're getting. So, I mean, their whole thing is guest hosts. Like, big deal. All the guest host does is these stupid little backstage segments. You know, like every now and then the guest host might be a special guest referee. Oh, big deal. It's a wrestling show. We want to see wrestlers. We want to see storylines. We don't want to see these cheesy little backstage segments with, a host from, what's that show, Entertainment Tonight? We really don't care. We don't want to see celebrities and wrestlers mixing it up socially. That doesn't do it. So it goes on to say that they felt that Bret Hart's return would give them at least a 4 rating. No, they didn't get close to a 4. And I don't see how they thought that they were going to get close to a 4. Even with Bret Hart. I mean, Bret Hart is old news. Even older than Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan at least wrestled in 2006. Bret Hart clearly is retired. So, there you have it. Plain and simple.